Hello everybody, this is Nick Jarman with Right Away. Over the past week and this past weekend, I've gotten a slew of text messages from my friends and colleagues asking about advice, seeking consult on what can they do in this time of crisis to lead their organization. So I've thought about it, reflected on it, and at this time I want to share some of my thoughts. First and foremost, I think we have to all understand and accept that this time is unlike any other that we've been faced with in our lifetime. Not in my 20-year career, your 40-year career, or even longer. So unfortunately, there is no research, there is no study, there is no manual that we can go back and find a great pathway on how to navigate these turbulent waters. So we have to understand the gravity of the situation that we're in, understand that at least in the immediate future, over the coming days and weeks, it's going to get worse before it gets better, and understand that as leaders, our team is looking to us for the answers, and this is one of the few times that we don't have those answers. So we're learning on the fly, and I think that needs to be communicated to all of our team members, is that, look, we don't have the exact answer, the exact path that we're going to take. But as leaders, we've guided the organizations to where we are today. We have your best interest, and we're going to continually do what we can to make sure that we take care of this situation. So I'm going to specifically talk to performance-driven organizations. Those organizations, such as ours in the credit and collection industry, that are for profit. Meaning that if we're not operating, if we're not open, then there is not cash flowing in. And understanding that this is something that everybody, not just locally, not just in the United States, but worldwide is having to deal with. So we're not in this alone. So the first thing about that is, in a production-driven environment, we have to make sure that production continues as long as there is no danger that we're putting our employees and team members through. So at this time, with what we know, that a national emergency has been declared, most states have declared a state of emergency, schools are being closed, restaurants, bars, and shops are being closed or limiting hours. So the world as we know it is going to cease to exist for a short period of time. So with that in mind, in a performance-driven environment where you need to be on the phones, making phone calls, collecting, what is it that we can do? The first thing that we need to do is we need to establish a working relationship with our client that is fluid, that we monitor every day. Our clients, our banks, financial institution, telecom, utility, anybody that we service, we need to make sure that we are all servicing the accounts to meet everybody's expectations. If our clients do not want us making collection attempts, do not want us making customer service attempts, then we're going to need to adapt to that. Maybe they want us to reduce the calling. Maybe they want us to reduce the activity. Those are all things that we need to monitor on a daily basis, because every day, as every news conference happens, things tend to change. Every case, there's more updates that come out. So as we know more, then we can make more informed decisions. But as it stands today, for most of us in production-driven environments, it is business as usual as that can be. So we have to make sure that we are understanding and empathetic to our clients and also to our employees. We need to make sure that we're taking the necessary measures to make sure that our employees feel safe, comfortable, and secure coming to work. And that means that we can take the necessary measures with cleaning, sanitation, making sure that we have gone through our policies and procedures as much as we can. And in just in a little bit, I'm going to go through 10 steps that we can all take to help navigate through this time. So we all probably have a business continuity plan, a disaster recovery plan. Heck, a lot of us already now have a pandemic response plan, one that we never anticipated we would have to activate. Well, newsflash, we need to operate and activate it today. Unfortunately, it's probably more than just what's on paper that needs to be taken care of. So it's one thing when we're putting the pen to paper, putting the strategy together years ago, not ever anticipating this day to come, but now we have to implement it. So we need to make sure that we can. There may be a point where your resources are telling you that, well, we can't do that. We were just providing that to the client. That's not going to be acceptable. We need to make sure that people in the decision-making hierarchy, as it comes to business continuity and specifically our pandemic response, are able to see the forest through the trees. Because the options and technology that were available when this plan was written years ago for your company have advanced to another degree that you may not be aware of what's out there today. So once you understand what that plan is, we need to make sure that the employees, like we talked about, are comfortable, making sure that they understand what is necessary and required of them, and that if they have concerns, that they come to you as their leader. As far as managers, leads, and assistant managers and type go, we need to make sure that we pull them to the side and have a separate discussion with them to let them understand that the light is shining on them. We can't change the circumstances outside of our walls, but what we can change is how we respond to those circumstances inside. So we need to make sure that all of our leaders understand the importance that they are showing up and making sure that they provide a vote of confidence to each and every one of the team members and employees. It's okay if they are worried. We all are to some degree, but we can't show that. We can't let that be exposed. They need to know that we are understanding of what's going on, that we do have concern and that we are empathetic and we will pay attention, but we also have responsibilities. And as long as that trust has been built up in that employee-employer relationship, they will have the confidence to know that you're going to make the best decision, that your company and your CEOs and your bosses are going to make the best decision for everybody involved. Again, we are a for-profit. This is about production. When that ceases, then cash flow ceases. So it's okay to explain that to them. We don't have residual income. We don't have money that gets paid overnight, night overnight, that comes in like online stores or shopping. That's not how we operate. So we have to understand that. Once we have worked out that plan with our clients and we keep that fluid, at this point, we should be checking in daily with our clients to make sure that we're all on the same page and that we truly value this as a partnership. And if there's things that they're asking that are making you uncomfortable and vice versa, things that you may be doing that make them uncomfortable, it all needs to be out in the open. Again, nobody has the right answer. 5, 10, 15 years from now, we'll be able to look back and say, that was the right thing to do. That was not. But presently today, that's not where we're at. So while we continue to navigate this time, here are 10 things that we can do as leaders to try to provide reassurance to our staff that we understand and we care and we do have concerns, and we're going to try to make the best collective decision for everybody involved. So the first thing that we can do is educate our workforce, educate our employees, hold town halls, hold meetings, let them know that we are engaged in what is going on, that we are staying aware, abreast of the situations as they unfold, and that we will make the necessary changes as they come up. We need to constantly monitor the developments. Look, you can't turn on the news, look at the website, open your phone without getting some alert of what's going on. I would caution you to be careful about the sources that you are getting the information, because we are in a Twitter ADD society where everybody is trying to get the information out quickest. So before we jump to conclusions, we need to make sure that the sources of the information that we have are valid and then make informed decisions off of that. It is also important to appoint a cross-functional team of all departments, at least one leader from each department, to meet daily and to stay interactive and engage with each other on what needs to happen. Again, this week right now and next week are looking to be the most critical weeks that we go through until we get the light at the end of the tunnel and know and have more of a roadmap of what to expect. So the decisions that we make over the coming days and weeks are going to be impactful, and there are going to be numerous byproducts that come out of that. So we want to do what we can to make those right. This may sound simple, but the fourth thing that we need to do is we need to reinforce good hygiene. Constantly reinforce. You see all of the jokes and the memes online and people talk about it. Now that we're putting so much of an emphasis on washing hands, what was everybody doing before? But regardless, we need to remind everybody that good hygiene, washing their hands, making sure they're taking care of themselves, making sure that they're washed up is critically important. If we find anybody that is sick, that has any of the symptoms that we know with the coronavirus that have been out there, a sore throat, a dry cough, a runny nose, a temperature of 100.5 or greater, any type of burning in the eyes or nose, we need to send them home. We need to encourage them to contact their doctor and see at the time if they qualify to be tested. Look, we watch the news. We know that the tests for the coronavirus are extremely short. We don't have enough. In Missouri alone, on Friday, there were 1,000 tests for all of the people that we have here. So the reality is that you have to check the boxes. Do you have the symptoms? Have you visited a country that is on the list? Are you in one of those positions where you've come in contact with somebody? So the easiest thing that we can do is to send them home and have them contact their doctor. If their doctor feels like they meet the criteria where they'll be eligible to get a test, then they'll send them for that. But if they're not, then that's something that we have to deal with. Most companies have already done this, but suspending travel or making it extremely limited for critical travel only. I think here in the next couple days, it's going to be a non-issue because of all of the flights that have been getting canceled and the states that are locking everything down. But suspending travel and making sure that you're keeping everybody kind of in your unit where you're at is critically important at this time while we look at what is actually social gathering and social distancing. If you do have people that are exposed, then they have to stay away. They have to be quarantined. And if somebody has been exposed and they test positive and they have been in contact with your workforce, then that is something that needs to be made a decision at the very top as to what steps need to be taken. Is this something where you need to be in a position to close down for a certain period of time? Contact the health department, contact the CDC, and they'll provide you insight if in fact you have to deal with that. If you have the ability to work from home, to have those non-essential, maybe non-production employees work from home, it's part of our social responsibility in this time. We need to create that distance, and the less people that we bring into an environment, the better off that we are of not spreading this extremely contagious disease. So we need to make sure that we do what we can. We also need to be mindful of the different laws. So if you're an employer, understanding the difference of sick time, paid sick leave, FMLA, what the government is offering, incentives. Right now, we have to make sure that we understand the plan. We know that the government has signed into law a bill that is going to provide 2 weeks of sick leave for anybody that's affected by the coronavirus. But we have to make sure that we also understand that is only for those companies that have 500 or fewer employees. If you have 500 employees or more, it doesn't pertain to you. You're responsible for the entire sick leave. In the words of one government official that I saw, as an employer of 500 people, you can afford it. Something that we have to keep in mind. And then lastly, this isn't uncommon. A lot of places are doing it. Consider screening your employees when they come in. If you're lucky enough to find a thermometer that you can scan on someone's forehead or even a non-touch, if they're consenting and they're willing to do it, then go out there and see what you can do in order to make sure that they're there. But again, at the end of the day, unprecedented times come with unprecedented measures, and it allows us as leaders the opportunity to step up, be the calm within the storm, and do what we can do to make sure that everybody is feeling safe, secure, comfortable, and that we keep rolling forward as long as we're safe and secure, and that we can do that. So I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this. Feel free to reach me, nick.jarman, that's nick.jarman @therightaway.com. If you have any questions like others, feel free to reach out to me, contact me, we can work through this. Now is not the time to sit on ideas, now is the time to share best practices, open up with your fellow industry, with other fellow business professionals, especially those business owners and executives in your areas, because you know what's being affected right there in your neck of the woods. But let's do what we do, and it's a time to lead. It's an opportunity to do that. And so God bless each and every one of you. God bless your families. Let's pray for them. Let's make sure that everybody is safe and secure, and that sooner rather than later, we get rid of this nasty thing called the coronavirus. Until next time.